If you've had a few meals at a Middle Eastern household, you've probably come across this kind of dish before. This is Basilla, one of many dishes that are classified as Tabeekh dishes. Tabeekh in Arabic means cooking, but it is also the name given to vegetable dishes that are cooked in a tomato sauce. These dishes are very common in the region, and they are made with any kind of fresh produce, from black-eyed peas and green beans to courgettes and aubergines. There's many different ways you can make this or change it up. And today we are looking at my favourite version of Tabeekh called Basilla, which is made with fresh green peas. Hey everyone, I'm Obi, a home cook who wants to get you cooking authentic and delicious Middle Eastern food at home. So today we're making a staple of Middle Eastern households that most people probably eat at least once a week. It's a versatile dish that is really easy to customise and will be delicious whether you go for the simple version or you go full out. Today I'll be making my favourite one with sweet peas, and I'll be serving it with some perfectly cooked vermicelli rice. So now let's jump right in and make it. First thing we'll do is prepare the ingredients that we'll need. Obviously, since we are making green peas, they are the star of the show. My favourite kind of pea is Petit pois, a French variety that are extremely small and sweet. They have a soft but not mushy texture when cooked, and their sweetness really adds a great layer of flavour to the dish. You can obviously use any variety of fresh or frozen peas, and for this recipe we'll need 350 grams or 12 ounces of them. With the peas we'll also be cooking some carrots. These will add more sweetness to the dish as well as a complementing texture. I've chopped them into small cubes so that they cook at the same rate as the peas. To do that, I started by peeling my carrots with my trusty OXO vegetable peeler. It makes the peeling process quick and easy. Just so you know, this footage hasn't been sped up and I haven't been sponsored. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box. So after removing the top and bottom of this carrot, I sliced it in half along the length and then into quarters. This gives us 4 carrot sticks with a nice and small cross section. If you're working with large carrots, you might want to slice them into thirds and then thirds again to get the sticks to the right size. Then it's just a matter of slicing those carrot sticks into pieces, and when you're done you'll be left with something that looks like this. For the recipe you'll need about 150 grams or 5¼ ounces of carrots, so the total weight of vegetables is 500 grams or 1 pound. If instead of peas you are making green beans or any other vegetable, you'll just use the same amount of weight. For the tomato sauce that we'll be cooking the vegetables in, we'll need to dice 1 medium brown or Spanish onion into a medium small dice. The diced onion should be about the same size as the carrot pieces when done, as these will melt down and form the base of our tomato sauce. Now this dish can be made vegetarian, but I feel the peas in particular really shine when meat is added. I'm using 500 grams or 1 pound of braising beef, but I'd highly recommend using veal if you can get your hands on it. The meat is cut into large cubes, but you could also use minced beef, chicken, or omit it entirely. Cooking the dish is extremely simple, and the same method can be used no matter which vegetables you are using. To start it off, place a pot on the stove on medium heat and add in 1 tablespoon of butter. Let the butter melt completely, then add in a single small piece of mastic. It will give the dish a piney background flavour, but you can leave it out if you don't have any. Let it melt in the butter for a few seconds and then add in your diced onion and stir it to combine. When the onions have sautéed for a few minutes, add in 1 minced garlic clove and mix it in. Allow them to sauté together for about 5 minutes until the onions have softened and turned opaque. Next we'll add in 400 grams or 14 ounces of crushed tomatoes, which I made by blending a can of chopped tomatoes with a little water. I also rinsed the blender out with some water and added that to the pot. Give it a quick mix and then it's time to add the meat. Now if you want, you can of course sear the meat beforehand, though I tend not to as I haven't noticed a big difference between the two. When the meat is added, top the pot up with enough water to cover the meat, then turn the heat up to high and let it come to a simmer. When it reaches a gentle simmer like this, turn the heat down to medium-low and cover the pot with a lid, leaving it slightly ajar so the steam can escape. Let it cook for about 40 minutes until the liquid has reduced to about half and the meat is cooked through. My beef took an hour until it was fork tender, though chicken or mince will take less time. Even if you do this without meat, it needs to cook for at least 40 minutes so the flavours of the sauce can develop properly. Once it has reduced, it's time to season the dish. Add in 1¼ teaspoons of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. If you are doing it without meat, you'll need to reduce the salt to 1/2 teaspoon and cut the pepper in half. Now we add the vegetables. Just simply add in all of your carrot pieces and follow that up with all of your peas. I'm adding mine in straight from the freezer. Give it a good mix and once again turn the heat up to high and let the pot come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, there's two different ways you can finish the dish. For the simplified method, turn the heat down to medium and allow it to cook for half an hour until the liquid has reduced and the vegetables are cooked through. The other slightly more elaborate way is to bake it. Traditionally you'd pour your vegetables into a clay pot called a bream and place that in an oven, though a deep baking dish will work just as good. Spread out your vegetables and meat until it's all even, and then it's ready to be baked. Place it in the centre of a 180°C or 350°F oven to bake for approximately 40 minutes, until the sauce has reduced considerably. Mine took about 45 minutes to end up like this. And as you can see, the sauce has caramelised and reduced completely into an extremely thick and delicious sauce. If you're cooking yours in a pot, you should reduce it until you get to a similar consistency. To serve it, I've made some vermicelli rice, which is the perfect side dish for any of these vegetable dishes. I've got a full video for that on the channel, so be sure to check it out, and I'll leave a link in the description box to it. All that's left to do is pile some Basilla up on your rice, and your meal is complete. Of course, this is a very basic recipe, and it's really a blueprint to which you can make any number of changes. For example, I'm a sucker for spicy foods, and I find that these peas pair perfectly with a smoky hot sauce like this chipotle one. Alright, I've dished myself up a small serving, so now it's time for the official taste test. Now that's an extremely comforting mouthful of food, and with the cold weather, it's just what the doctor ordered. The tomato sauce has reduced and concentrated its savoury flavours, so it really complements the sweetness of the peas and carrots. With the rice, it's the perfect pairing, and a dish that really feels like home. Like I mentioned, I love adding hot sauce to mine, and this is something you should definitely feel free to experiment with. Give it a try and let me know what additions you think will work well. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a like, comment or share as it really helps the channel. As usual, all the ingredient amounts and directions are in the description box below, and I'll be back next week with another recipe.